last year, despite being mediocre at best offensively, despite having a glaring void when it came to that go-to perimeter scorer. Jalen Green, talented, but he was consistently inconsistent, flashes of brilliance, but peaks and valleys. Kevin Durant, you know who he is. He has been a certified bucket since you were in elementary school, Malika. He's still one of the most efficient volume scorers that we've ever seen in this game. They're still big, they're still tough, they're still deep. They're going to be a dominant rebounding team, an elite defensive team, and now they have a Hall of Famer instead of a hope he can as the go-to guy.
Not a hope
yes, the Rockets are realistic championship contenders with this trade of Kevin Durant, and that's the whole reason the deal happened.
A hope he can as a noun, McMahon, is pretty wild.
I'm going to be absolutely. Thank you for that.
Quite effective. Look, I have a ton of respect for leadership needing to be patient and strike all the right notes. But to me, this sounded like scared money don't make no money. To your point, it is obvious what this team is trying to do right now. And I think the way you maybe dance around it artfully, if you want to do the PR thing, is you look at the steps Kevin Durant has taken in his career, and it has never not been about putting the team in the best position to win. And then, of course, you do the dance about the rest of our team and trusting Ime Udoka and how we're going to grow this season and put our best foot forward. But, yeah, everybody know what time it is when you add this guy to a team that was number 2 in the West. And I actually think that being bold and affirming what you're trying to do on a daily basis, particularly for those young guys, helps you stay locked in on the prize.
But OKC just did that, and it worked out for them.
Yeah, but they didn't have that Kevin Durant veteran there. They didn't have a Fred VanVleet. I mean, I guess you could maybe put Caruso in that category, but he's not old. He's just older than them.
30.
Right. He's just older than them. And so to me, this is when you go out and go get Kevin Durant. They had this well-chronicled decision to say, I want to keep this young team together. We want to grow. And then they lost to the Warriors in the first round.
And what did they lose with? They lost with not having a go-to guy down the stretch of those games to put the ball in their hand and say, go get us a bucket. That's really what we need. Now you have the best scorer, the greatest scorer in my eyes of all time on your team in Kevin Durant, Brian.
Yeah, so there's some nuance here, okay? I know that it's hard always to see nuance. I don't think that the Rockets looked at this situation and said, now is the time we're going to go for it. But they loved the price on Kevin Durant. They thought, if we can get him for this price, we're going to get him, not because we think we're only going to be contenders for the next 2 years. And again, there's nuance within that. I don't want to imply that they got him for cheap. They gave some quality players and the number 10 draft pick, Maluach, who could end up being a really good player for Phoenix. But they really liked the price here. And so that, I think, has to be considered. They went and got Durant because he was the best thing they could have ever gotten for what they gave up. But I also think that they have learned from Oklahoma City. Sam Presti, what did he come out and say 2 years ago? We've got to finish our breakfast. They won 57 games and had the #1 overall seed. And then he was like, let's talk about lunch. So I think Rafael is very savvy. He's done a really good job building this team. He does not want to put parameters on it, but he also couldn't say no to getting Kevin Durant at that value.
Right, so maybe Rafael now will say, let's just finish our brunch, and then we can kind of go on.
Bro, if y'all don't go out there and try to win a championship, stop playing. Let's go.
I mean, they're going to go out there. They're going to go out there. They're going to go out there and try to win a championship. In this Western Conference, you mentioned it, Monica, they were the number 2 seed already. You add Kevin Durant, what does that equate? We can all sort of see what the tea leaves are spelling here. It isn't that difficult. The spotlight certainly is going to be on Kevin Durant and the Rockets next season, but the summer spotlight, it's currently on top 5 pick Ace Bailey. He debuted after all that jazz for the Jazz in Salt Lake Summer League, and here's how it went down against the Memphis Grizzlies here. Early in the second quarter, Jazz trail by 14. Bailey grabs a rebound, steps back out.
Okay.
One-legged shot, off to a pretty good start.
Dirk Nowitzki kind of shot.
Trail by 9 here. Isaiah Collier pushes it up. Bailey, the vicious alley-oop, showing off some of his athleticism that we talked so much about during the draft. And then later in the third, Bailey fighting for the rebound here and throwing it down with authority.
He told us all through the draft process that rebounding is the thing he hears from his aunt and mom when he's playing ball.
And clearly he was hearing it here and also feeling it hitting the 3 18.7 rebounds in his second Summer League game. And while Bailey balled out last night, it was number 3 pick VJ Edgecombe that points, highlighted by some rim-rattling dunks here as well. He grabbed 10 rebounds, dished out 4 assists. He swatted 2 shots in his debut with Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love. Excited here for what they're seeing from the number 3 pick. Tim, you were in the building to watch both Edgecombe and Bailey here. Your biggest takeaway watching those two was what?
I mean, the takeaway with VJ Edgecombe is this guy is going to step into the NBA as an elite athlete, even by NBA standards. And he didn't have the most productive year at Baylor where the floor's all clogged up. But if you watched him with the Bahamas, where he was playing on a team with DeAndre Ayton, with Eric Gordon, with Buddy Hield, a team that came 1 win away from that itty-bitty island's first Olympic bid.
Yeah.
There were times where he was the best player on that team, where he was the guy who was getting crunch time shots. He's not scared of the moment, and you talk about a turbo button, the ability to elevate. He can get to his spots. He can get shots when he wants. He's really impressive. Listen, when I was there Saturday night, it was not like an overwhelming performance by Ace Bailey. He struggled offensively, 8 points on 3 of 13 shooting, but the Jazz were pleased by what they saw, and that's because he competed. He played hard defensively. You could see 6'8", 210. It was Will Hardy told me, NBA athlete, NBA body, closing big gaps defensively, competing, rebounding. He sat for 6 minutes of crunch time, came back in the game, and got the biggest board of the game. He was considered kind of painted as a diva during the pre-draft process. That has not been the guy they've seen since he showed up to Salt Lake City. Yeah, they're seeing sort of all of the things that we knew would make him such an asset in the NBA. So we've seen a couple of the top picks here. We will have to wait, though, until Thursday to see the number 1 pick, Cooper Flagg, make his Summer League debut. That'll be out in Vegas. But earlier today, he spoke at Mavs practice. I think, Coach Shire trusted me a lot last year, and I handled it a lot. I didn't bring it up a ton, but, in the half court, I handled it a lot and, set up a lot of different actions. So I think it's something I can do at a high level, so I'm excited to just, experiment and do some new things. He's experimenting. He's doing some new things. He's keeping the goatee. Tim, how do you see Flagg adapting with the Mavs here? Well, listen, Jason Kidd's going to treat Cooper Flagg a lot like he did Giannis Antetokounmpo when J. Kidd got to Milwaukee and put the ball in Giannis's hands and basically said, spread your wings, show us what you can do, and the things you can't do, let's jump over those hurdles. Let's get past those things. Let's test you and really grow. And it's different circumstances. That Milwaukee team was young. They were in a rebuild where Cooper Flagg obviously joins a very veteran-heavy Dallas Mavericks team, a team with some future Hall of Famers. Of course, one of those future Hall of Famers, Kyrie Irving, recovering from a torn ACL. He's not going to play for at least the first half of the season. So there is a void in terms of facilitating, playmaking. Jason Kidd wants to really give Cooper Flagg a chance to prove that he can help fill that void, if not be the primary guy as their playmaker from the get-go. And that's really what this Summer League is going to be about for Cooper Flagg and the Mavericks. We get to see Cooper on Thursday in Las Vegas right here on ESPN, taking on the Los Angeles Lakers and Bronny James. It may just be July, Tim, but there is plenty of action to catch up on. So let's check out NBA Today's Big Three, our highlights here from around the association and more. We're going to start with Bronny James. Speaking of the Lakers, taking on the Heat in the California Summer League Classic here. This is early in the first quarter. Watch this, Monica. Bronny.
Okay.
Came on his dad there.
Yeah, this is a great finish. Terrific display of athleticism, reading the defense, had the advantage, full control.
He would end up with 10 points in that game. And then coming in at number 2 here, Ramona, Judah Mintz, Salt Lake City Summer League. The Thunder taking on the 76ers here early in the first quarter. Judah Mintz with the crossover. You got to make that. He does. We got to see that crossover one more time.
Goodness.
Man.
Slide to the left.
Oh, man.
He had 21 points in this one. The Thunder did go on to win the game, however, 89-76. And then at number 1, a potential future Summer League participant one day, maybe. We got Chef Cannon Curry, the young
3?
chef. You see this bottle flip?
Let's watch. Okay.
He just turns into his dad.
Oh, he walked away?
He did a little walk away.
If he doesn't shimmy, I'm going to do Let's see the night-night. Come on, let's see the night-night.
Everyone is impressed.
So cute.
And his dad is just like, I mean, I guess he gets it from his pops. Look at this.
Oh, so calm about the flag.
Still to come, let's check in on the W because it is All-Star season. Caitlin and Nafisa, team captains. Should we expect some draft fireworks? Caitlin's going to tell us about her plans and her draft and her status next on NBA Today.